Hey guys, welcome back to D100 Dudes. I'm going to bring you a video today that is actually going to focus on my 1969 Super B, and I'm going to put this car up for sale. So I'm going to do a detailed video of the car, complete walk around video of the car, and the car is an all original, numbers matching 383 4-speed car. It's got a 323 sure grip posi in it, and I've got a 4-door parts car that has perfect front fenders on it, you know, extra grille, taillights, etc. This car needs a lot of work. I mean, I won't try to mislead anybody on that, and you're going to see it for yourself because I'm going to do again a very detailed walk around video on the car. So this car's biggest enemy was shag carpet. When my buddy first got this car that I got the car from, it had shag carpet in the interior and had shag carpet in the trunk. And the car sat outside for many, many years, and that shag carpet just held the moisture and completely destroyed the floors and the trunk pan in the car. The rest of the car, while it is rough, it's not as bad as the floor pans. Frame rails, all the substructure in the car is rock solid. And again, I'll detail all of that for you. So I'll do everything here at this location, and the 4-doors at another location. So I'll go down there and I'll have to dig everything out. All the stuff from this car is basically stuffed inside the 4-door, as far as the bucket seats, the console, the shifter. The motor and transmission are still in this car, the rear end's still in it, the posi's still in it. Not sure on the drive shaft, actually, I'll have to look, but I got the radiator over here for it. But again, most everything is stuffed inside the 4-door car. So again, it was a factory bucket seat 4-speed car, console, and rally dash. So all of that is at the other location. So let me finish cleaning it off and I'll give you a walk around. Okay, so I'm going to start with the hood on the car because I have to pull it off of there just to show the motor and the inner fenders and stuff. As you can see, the hood has a ton of surface rust on it, but honestly I really think it'll clean up just fine. The hood inserts are in the parts car. I know that, I've already confirmed that. And again, I bought this car off of a friend of mine, so he pretty much inventoried the car. He actually owned this car before it was disassembled. He was going to restore it. The guy came along, made him an offer, and he sold it to the guy. That guy took the car, took it all apart, and wound up passing away. Once he passed away, his widow contacted my buddy, the original owner of it since I've known the car, and my buddy purchased the car back along with all the parts, as you'll see. So a little bit of filler right here. It doesn't look like anything extravagant. And again, as far as the hood goes, it looks to be relatively straight, but again, just a ton of surface rust, and it does have some rust through on the bottom side. Let me see if I can lift this up and show you. And it's back here, back behind where the hinge goes. So everything else looks pretty good. Again, by the time you dip it, blast it, whatever you're gonna do, you know, you may wind up with some more issues on it, but I think right now that is the only rusted out spot on this hood. You know, again, a lot of surface rust, guys, but that is the only spot that I see that's rusted through on the car. So it may be good on the flat hood on the parts car. Same thing, I just don't know till I get down there and look it over better. This trim is slightly bent, but it's not a hard bend, so I think you can actually save it, and I'm almost positive that piece is good on the parts car as well. Okay, so I got the hood off, as you can tell, and to show you the inner fenders here. Passenger side inner fender, I think, is pretty well perfect. Maybe just a touch of swelling right here. Again, I don't feel for any minute that would need to be replaced. Radiator support, is good, straight. It's not been beat up. It's not rusted out at all. And of course, it has the numbers. It may be hiding underneath this detail here, but there should be some numbers on this rad support that matches the VIN. Again, the original 383, I've been under it. I've verified the serial number on the block matches the serial number on the car. Typical Mopar under the battery tray has got some rust here. So, you know, it would be the buyer's choice, I guess, during restoration. If it was me, I'd be cutting out a patch and just welding in, keeping this original structure untouched. So same thing, the firewall is rock solid. There's no issues on it whatsoever. And it was just a 383 4-speed non-air car. So it is just true old school muscle car. Now the cowl, it has a little bit of bowing on some of the ribs, but again, nothing bad, but there is some spots on it where it is bowed in a little bit, but not bad at all. The inner structure, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll wait on this side and I'll go get a light so that we can see this side good and clear. It's kind of dark in the shop over here, but I'll show you the passenger's side. And again, it's rock solid. Frame rails don't have any issues whatsoever. So, I mean, you know, there's some surface rust, but again, they are extremely nice and I feel do not need to be replaced at all. This one needs repair below the battery tray, as I showed you. Everything here, rock solid, rock solid. So no issues there. Driver's door. It appears maybe original to the car, maybe not, because it's got some yellow paint on it, it's got blue paint on it, so I don't know. But regardless, the door is perfectly solid. The rocker panels are perfect on both sides. Okay, inner driver's side door. Obviously these doors have been replaced, so that, you know, they were originally yellow, so it looks like both doors have been replaced at one point in its life. But again, they are rock solid, no issues other than some light surface rusting. The lip is still tight, it's not swollen, there's no separation in there. The glass is not in the door. But again, I've got all this inside the parts car. So now the bad stuff, right? We'll start getting there. The floor pans. Again, factory 4-speed car. The pedals are in the parts car. But you can see that the floors are heavily rusted on the car. And again, the firewall is all good. It's all solid. There is some rust here, which is kind of an unusual area to see rust on this inner. And this will work off of the parts car should you choose to repair it. Again, it'll be hidden behind, you know, the kick panel, but I would obviously go ahead and replace it while I was restoring the car. Window channel is all rock solid. There are no issues there. Still got the brackets in it for the console. Again, do not have a console body. The console body was busted up, so it was just trashed. But they're available aftermarket. But I do have all of the top plates, including the 4-speed top plate. And again, you can see the floor pans. You know, really just, if it was me, one-piece floor pan. Also needs the drop down by the rear seat. This side is probably savable. This side, passenger side, is rusted out. Again, there's rust under the rear seat, And that was, again, due to being stored outside and critters nesting up underneath the seat, and that stuff just holding the moisture and rusting out. So again, all the glass is out of the car except for the back windshield, but all of the glass is in the parts car with the exception of the windshield. It'll need a new windshield. We do have a rust hole here. It'll need to be repaired. And again, I would suspect maybe you could salvage that from the four-door or just get you a patch. Everything else looks good. Quarters, I'm not a body man. These quarters are not horrible. I think they could be savable, but if I was doing an all-out show car, I would replace the full quarters, which are available from AMD, factory type quarter panels. It does have lower rust behind the wheel, so you know you could replace that. But you know, again, obviously the car's been painted at some point in its life, so who knows what's hiding underneath here. But it is rusted out here, as you can see. The corners have the typical 68 to 70 B-body rust. And what I call the Dutchman panel, you know, it's got rust below the windshield. The rest of it is actually solid. There's a hole here in the quarter panel, kind of a weird spot. I don't know if somebody had done that on purpose, what the story was there. Again, you can faintly see the outline of the original Super B emblem on there. And again, it is a real Super B, guys. Taillight panel. As you can see, it's got some rust below the taillights. The outer portion isn't all that bad. Everything else is rock solid. But below both taillights, there's some minor rust, as you can see there. So at first glance, I thought, you know, this is savable. But then when we get inside the trunk, I don't know. I guess this is an outer. There's some rust here, here. So there is some rust on the low side of it. Oh, and it's rusted out pretty good over here. So I would say it definitely needs a taillight panel. And I believe the one on the parts car is rusted as well. Trunk pan, just completely gone. Again, shag carpet just destroyed it, but the frame rails are all rock solid. And I'll get under the car and verify that for you. Inner wheelhouse looks good. I don't think you would have to replace the inner or outer wheelhouse on the driver's side at all. The trunk extension on that side looks rock solid. I don't think you would have to replace it either. Again, trunk or taillight panel, you know, when you get to the bottom of these support braces, they're rusted. The very bottom of those are rusted. Maybe they're salvageable from the four-door. I don't know. Same thing with this lock support mechanism. It's got rust at the bottom. This piece, pretty solid, but it's got some rust. And you can see the rust that we've seen below there. So it's got a fair amount of rust. And again, if you look at the inners on the car, the inner rear quarters, you know, they appear to be wearing the original paint. So I don't think the quarters have ever been replaced on the car. This inner wheelhouse has got some rust right here by the hinge support. So hopefully you can see that. Right in here, got some rust through. So you may wind up needing to do maybe an inner, or at least repair this inner. The rest of it looks pretty doggone good. The outer, same thing. This trunk extension is rusted through. You know, there's multiple holes in it over there, so it would need to be replaced. But again, I would do one-piece trunk and at least the right hand trunk extension. The rails, you know, the rain gutters, the drip rails, whatever you want to call them, actually look really good on the car. When my buddy got the car, you know, he immediately put it into a building that did have an open front on it, but the car was essentially out of the weather from the time that he took possession of it. And it's been right here in my buddy's shop in the dry for I don't know, probably a couple of years, I guess, since I got this car. And again, the lower window corners as usual, and you got rust in the Dutchman panel. Rear glass is good, very filthy but good. So it's got some rust up here at the top of the quarter where it meets the roof. Same thing on this quarter panel, right? Again, I'm not a body man, but I truly think these quarters can be saved. It's solid all the way down. The rocker, again, on this side is rock solid. It looks pretty good up in here. Same thing as the other side. It's got some rust on the lower rear quarters behind the tire. So you definitely have to replace that. Again, this, buyer's discretion. Passenger's door. Same thing. You know, it's been replaced obviously at some point in its life, but it is a perfectly solid, very straight door. So no rust at all on the doors, either side. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this door. Give you a tour of the inside. Same thing, no glass. All the glass is present and in the parts car. So as you can see, rock solid. Same thing on this side. The lip is perfect. There's no swelling, no rust through. So these doors are perfectly salvageable. No problems at all. Floors, again, this side has the worst of it. You know, heavily rusted through. So, you know, hey, I was a hippie once and I thought shag carpet in my car was cool too. I didn't think downstream what would happen someday from this thing, you know, sitting around. But again, everything back here looks good. More rust underneath the rear seat that would need some repairs. There's a hole down in here you can see. There's some rusting starting there that you can see. And again, it's got the bucket seat brackets still in it. So she's a project, guys. Totally a project. But you know, if you've got building skills, you're gonna be ahead of the game. So passenger side inner fender, all this again, rock solid. Rocker panels, no issues whatsoever. Inner fender, no issues. Cowl area, no issues. Very straight. Car obviously has never been hit hard, wrecked hard. The original fenders that were on the car, my understanding when my buddy got this car, it was completely put together and the fenders were pretty banged up, and they removed them and disposed of them. It does have the right HP exhaust manifolds on it, correct part number for the year. I have put a bolt on the crank, spun the motor over, no issues whatsoever, so the motor is not stuck. Now my buddy, I don't believe, ever heard this motor run, and I obviously have never heard the motor run. But again, the original correct HP exhaust manifolds for the car. You won't have to go digging through swap meets to find your part numbers for this car. Everything part number wise is here. So I will get some padding, get an extra light, make sure I got plenty of charge, and I will lay down, show you the underneath of the car real quick. I can show you here. It does have the original 8 3/4 in it, and again it is a 323 Sure Grip, and you can still see some of the paint marks on the car. So, you know, again, frame rails, rear frame rails, they're good. You know, some of these B bodies, they rust the last few inches before the bumper. Not these. These are absolutely rock solid. There's no issues with the frame rails at all on the car. Even after sandblasting, these things are still going to be rock solid. Oh, roof skin. It does have some pinholes in the roof skin. Now, whether or not you need to replace the whole thing, I think so. There's a rust hole here. Right? There's a hole right here. There's a hole right here. Up by the front windshield, there's a hole right there. There's another hole right here. Some holes, pinholes here. So yes, I do feel, here's another hole back here. So it will need a roof skin on the car. So sheet metal wise, as far as welding goes, in my opinion, the car needs a roof skin. It needs the repairs by the kick panel in that inner, I don't even know what you call that support area. Needs a floor pan, needs the under seat pan, needs the drop pan on the passenger side. Needs quarter repair or quarter replacement, both sides. Again, your choice as to what level of restoration you're doing on this car. But to me, this car, 383 4-speed, numbers matching, needs to be done right. Tail light panel, I feel, needs to be done. Trunk pan needs to be done. And the passenger's trunk extension needs to be done. Again, both quarters, roof skin, the Dutchman panel, the taillight panel, trunk floor, extension, full floor, under seat. Needs a lot of sheet metal work. I recently priced it all out. There was about $3,500 in sheet metal, and that was AMD sheet metal. That wasn't Sherman's or anything else. That was quality AMD sheet metal, about 3,500 bucks. Did not include shipping prices. Oh, and right here, got a little bit of rust down here on the, whatever we call this, quarter drop down or whatever this is. This is not part of the quarter panel, but it's got some rust there. So that's pretty much it. Hey guys, so here's the bottom of the K-frame. Again, the frame rails, all rock solid, no issues whatsoever on the frame rails. K-frame's in great shape. Yeah, got a little bit of scuffing in the center there, you know, where it looks like it's scraped over something in its past, but sway bar. And again, no issues. It is drum brake all the way around. 4-wheel drum brake. And again, the best we can tell, motor has never been out of this car. Alright, so there's the VIN pad on the block, and I highly doubt you can see the numbers, but you can see where I cleaned it off to verify that the serial number on the block matches the serial number of the car. The inspection plate on the bell housing is still present. It's in great shape. And again, the VIN plate on the transmission. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but again, I did verify that VIN matches the VIN on the motor, matches the VIN on the car. Cross member, torsion bar, all that, rock solid. No issues whatsoever on the car. And again, the frame rails, you can see them. No issues on the frame rails at all. So all the structure is perfectly solid on the car. Roll over, show you this side here. Again, rock solid, no issues whatsoever on the frame rails. Okay, now I'm on the back of the car again. Let's give you a better look at the frame rails back here. Again, no issues. Same with in front of the axle, no issues at all. Got this piece here that's been tore out, and I think what's happened there was somebody put a chain through there and pulled it and ripped that piece. So that can easily be repaired. I don't think that needs to be replaced at all, because it's good across the car. And again, this is the passenger side frame rail. No issues whatsoever. Again, they're just perfect frame rails. I bought this car really kind of thinking, you know, maybe I'd do something with it, and I'll tell you right now, if there was bad frame rails, I would not have bought the car, because Gmail works out of my league. Better yet, you know, something as structural as the frame rails. So again, all the frame absolutely perfect on the car. No issues whatsoever. Alright, some new stuff that I got for the car. I will include '68 to '72 B body. That's a trunk weather strip from Soft Seal. The correct windshield washer jug. Got all the correct markings on it. Surfaces. '68 to '72 trunk weather strip. Again, Soft Seal. Got some of the stickers for the tire pressure. And the door handles for it. Reproduction, but they are brand new, correct for the car. The hinge rebuild kit. I think that's for this car. Got your door handle. And NOS windshield wipers. Now these are actual Mopar 282 2990. Actually, actual wiper. And these are the wiper arms themselves, Anco, and all that stuff. So, anyways, just a few trinkets that were wired for the restoration. Okay guys, this is the original radiator for the car. Got the right part number on it. 2949053 Has the right part number, radiator, 69383 HP. It's blocked off for automatic because this was a 4-speed car. I do have the side straps. I don't know the exact location of them at the moment, but both side straps have come off, which is common. Obviously probably gonna need to record that anyways, but it is the original part numbered radiator. And over here, just a box of miscellaneous parts. And this, even though the box says auto, I'm almost positive this is the correct part number carburetor for 3-3 speed. Again, Carter AVS 4682S 69383 HP. In worst case, it's for an automatic instead of a 4-speed, but I'm almost positive that this is the correct carb. And this was the only thing that wasn't original on the car when my buddy bought it. Was the original carburetor had been replaced, and he located this carburetor when he was still thinking about restoring the car. So again, you got the original carburetor, some miscellaneous parts in there. These are the windshield washer hoses and brackets, non-brackets. There's some miscellaneous stuff in here. This was all in the trunk of the car, so just miscellaneous. The gas filler neck, the gas tank needs to be replaced. It was completely destroyed. And that's pretty much it that I have here at this location. Alright guys, so this is the parts car for the Super B. And again, as you can see, front fenders on the car, absolutely perfect. There's absolutely no issues on those. You know, it's got the body side moldings, so you'll have to repair those holes in order to use these fenders. But these fenders are perfect. And hopefully, still looks good. The dash pad in this car is the right color, and it's mint. I will open these. We'll open these doors here in a little bit. So again, this car, it's missing the motor, the transmission, and the rear end. Front bumper, couldn't tell you if the front bumper is here or not, to be honest with you. But it's got a nice grill in it. No issues with the grill. And again, this you know, this trim piece that I pointed out on the Super B is good on this car. Same thing, passenger side fender, absolutely perfect. It's not dented, not rusted at all. So she is rock solid. I mean, just a great example of the bumper. Now, unfortunately, you know, the lower quarters are rusty on this car. But again, the car's covered up with good parts. You know, it's got the tail lights, the tail light panel, you know, the trunk lid on this one. It's got some rust hole going here. I think you could save this one. The Super B trunk lid is actually pretty bad off. It's actually, that's this one right here. And let's take a look. It's been so long, I just don't remember. So actually, this is not a horrible, it's not a horrible piece. You know, it's got a little bit of rust there by the rubber bumper. But actually, I think this is a good trunk lid. I'm going to get this thing up out of the dirt. And there's a bumper. I don't know what that's for. But again, it's got the side markers, the tail lights, the grille, the complete dash. So there's a lot of parts on this car that wouldn't be correct for the Super B, but you could sell them and make some of your cash back. So definitely an option to, you know, recoup some of your money when you were done putting this project together. So let me go ahead and get the doors open on this thing. Let's see if this one will open. Can't get that one to open. There's the back door open. So again, we live in the South, so you know I'm a little leery of snakes. It is a nice crisp, cool morning down here, so I'm going to try to dig some of this stuff out. But you can see there's one of the bucket seats right there. Again, it's just piled up with parts in here. There's the rally dash frame, and I know the rally cluster is in the trunk, but we'll dig it out. And I think my goal here is to just get it out, get it loaded onto my trailer, and then get everything up to the shop where I can lay it out in the dry, take my time, and just kind of document everything for you guys. I got the car pretty well emptied out. Didn't get every little last nut and bolt out of here, but here are the windows, right? There's the quarter glass, the door glass for both sides. So I'm going to leave that in here for now. I don't have a safe place to transport that. And like I said, this dash pad, it does not appear to be cracked, but it is probably hard from sitting out here. So it is definitely needing some moisturizer to get in there and soften that thing back up. But again, I didn't take the car apart. My buddy didn't take the car apart. So you're probably going to have to rely on the four-door for some of the nuts and bolts and screws and things of that nature. But again, I'll get back and I will document everything as best as I can to show you, you know, the big stuff especially. You know, I found the 4-speed pedals. I got the rally dash cluster. I've got all the console top plates. I've got all the window mechanisms, the wiper motor, the original bumper jack, which is actually very nice. The tail lights, the original air cleaner assembly. There's all 3 pieces, including the pie pan. There's the shifter, console 4-speed shifter. Here's the console parts, you know, that they saved because it had the trim on it. Your front bumper filler panel, the 4-speed pedals. You know, again, the heater box, rally dash frame, the radio, the steering column, the bucket seats. They look like probably they were either recovered at some point in their life or maybe came out of something else because they're black. So this car, I'm no expert. It was B5 out and B7 in, or B7 out, B5 in, something like that. It was blue on blue regardless. White vinyl top, white bumblebee stripe. So this car would be absolutely breathtaking restored. Alternator brackets, distributor. You know, again, I haven't gone through each and every one of these little things, but the quarter vent windows, the rear upper panels that go above the door panels in the back, the splash shields that go behind the fenders, the original door panels. There's a couple of sets there, so I don't know if they bought a used set considering using them or whatever. But you know, again, this box is full of stuff, and when I get back to the shop and later on today, I will go through everything and lay it out and you know, give you the best inventory I can on this car. Lots of stuff. All right, guys, I'm back to the shop and I've drug everything off of the trailer, dug everything out of the boxes. Again, there's not everything here, but this is the majority of things. Now, one thing that I did not find that I thought, and it may be there, was I thought there was a grill for the Super Bee. Obviously, the parts car has got a nice one in it, but I had thought that there was a grill and headlight bezels from the Super Bee, but you know, maybe not. So again, right now it's going to be bought the way you see it, and anything I find, you know, after the fact, I will definitely let you know. And again, there's a few parts down there still, and I wasn't sure. My buddy had a lot of stuff piled up on the roof of the parts car, and I wasn't sure, you know, what belonged to this and maybe what was something of his, so I didn't want to take anything. So here's seat belts, right? And as far as I know, the parts car has got the seat belts in it as well. So not really seeing the bolts. There was one bolt for it. Here's all the old door panels, the old headlight or sun visors. Got the heater box, which looks really good. Obviously it needs to be restored, but the body, I didn't see any busts or cracks on it. The passenger side vent, the tubes. This is kind of, you know, what I call some expendables over here. The old wire harness, the old sill plates, the old rear armrest, no sign of front armrests at all. The old washer jug, which is busted up. These are all the parts that I found for the window channels and tracks and everything. So, you know, it appears, the only thing I didn't see two of was this piece right here, and I don't know what that's for. And again, it may turn up, maybe there's only one, I don't know. We've got the upper seal channel. We've got the interior upper trim piece. Again, the rear upper trim, the chrome stainless that goes above the door panels for the rear, the door vent with the vent glass, which is removed from that one for some reason, hood hinge, splash shield, there's the wiper control arms, emergency brake cable, there's the speedometer cable. Something else I didn't find everything of, this is the rear window trim, just the two lower pieces. I did not find the rest of it, but again, maybe it's there, maybe it's not. The original air cleaner and the base. I had the pie plate and it blew off, I guess, somewhere along the way, but it was pretty beat up. Trim for the rally dash, the heater control panel for the dash, the glove box door, which is not in great shape, would probably need to be replaced. This corner over here is kind of peeling and crushed, but I think those are interchangeable from non-rally to rally, and I could be wrong, I don't know, guys. Here's the rally dash lower pads, which appear to be in pretty good shape, just filthy. There's the radio trim plate, the AM radio, again the rally dash frame. There's the radiator side brackets that I didn't know where they were yesterday. Distributor, alternator, power steering pump, pulleys. The front turn indicators and both pigtails have been cut for whatever reason. The headlight bezel rings, two side marker housings. There's the trim for the power bulge hood. No studs are broken on those, but they obviously need to be restored. Steering column with the steering wheel. The steering wheel is toast. There's the master cylinder plate, wiper motor, the bracket that goes under the steering column, the splash shield for the driver's side, driver's remote mirror, the hinge. Again, the rally cluster, it is not a tic-tac setup. It's just a base rally cluster. This piece that goes above the glove box is very warped. It was laying on the back dash panel of the parts car, and I'm guessing the sun took its toll on that. So, horn ring for the steering wheel, again, needs to be restored, but the pad doesn't look too bad. There's the 4 speed pedals, the emergency brake, the rod for the brakes to the master cylinder. There's the Z-bar, the gas pedal assembly. The gas pedal is pretty well toast. Clutch fork. The brackets, or the seat brackets on these, don't appear to be rusted. That looks like it's made that way. Missing the studs on several of them, but again, the brackets themselves look good. There's all the trim for this side, for the driver's door, the upper seal channel, the interior trim piece, the vent window, both taillights, which are good, decent pieces, the taillight trim panel, which is nice, the bumper jack, the base, no handle, There's the glove box door plate, the 4-speed plate, the 4-speed with all the rods still connected to it, and again the correct Hurst shifter for the console 4-speed. And again the side panel remnants, which has the lights and the trim needed to put the console back together. I believe they reproduce all that stuff now. Again, that's what I found for now, guys. So really the parts car, and again over here, you know, this crate is all nuts and bolts and miscellaneous pieces. This guy that was restoring the car, you know, he wasn't a professional. I'm not a professional, but I do at least know that when I take a fender off, I put all the hardware in a baggie, label it, seal it, and store it. This guy appears to have just thrown all the hardware into boxes and bolt containers and whatnot. So this is where the parts car is going to prove to be invaluable to you. It's going to have all the little hard to find pieces to reattach, you know, the screws to put this piece back up, maybe, I don't know. You know, again, you guys are just going to have to review everything. These front A-pillar posts, I think you're going to need new ones. I found this one still has that lower trim on it. I did not see another piece of lower trim, but again, it could be somewhere. But I believe these, you know, this somewhere was busted up. So I don't know if they've got an extra, but, you know, again, a lot of this stuff, you know, if you're restoring the car, you're going to have to restore the car. So the upper radiator support, the lower bumper filler, I guess this is for this car. It was laying on top of it. A little bend here should be easy enough to straighten back out. But again, you know, the parts car is going to be your best friend when it comes to all the miscellaneous hardware that held things together. Guys, leave some comments. I know there's going to be haters out there. They're going to say this car is junk and it's overpriced and blah blah blah, but you know, if you're not interested in the car, just move along. But again, it'd make a beautiful car when it's done. It's going to take a lot of work, but it will make an absolutely beautiful car when it's done. The deck lid, again, we kind of looked at this down at the house there. You know, there's some rust on it. It's going to need some repairs, but it is not the worst thing in the world. It's definitely savable. And these are, you know, they're pretty tough to find, and you got to pay good money if you find one that's rock solid that doesn't need rust repair. So you got two of them. You got the one on the parts car that has some similar rust, and you got this one. So the parts car does not have the heavy surface rust that this one has. But that's pretty much it, guys. Again, it's going to go on to social media. Mopar sites is where I plan on listing this thing, as many of them as I can reach. And same thing there. There's going to be haters. I hate even looking at those sites because there's so many haters. But it is what it is. Anybody that's interested can private message me through Facebook Marketplace or any of the websites that they find it on. I'm not going to list my phone number due to scammers, but I'm going to block comments probably just to avoid all the hatred that seems to fulfill those places. And you know, again, if you're serious, the car is located South Central Tennessee. We can discuss further details if you're interested in coming to see the car, and it is the buyer's responsibility to transport these cars. I am not interested in any trades whatsoever unless it is a turnkey quality restoration Mopar, preferably a 4-speed, preferably a B body. And I like 64 Dodge Plymouth Polara or Fury. I like 66, 67 Chargers. Obviously, I like the 68 to 70 Chargers. I like the 71, 72 Chargers. Roadrunners, GTXs, 68 Coronet's probably one of my favorites. 70 Coronet would be one of my favorites. So any of those, I'll trade the car in towards your finished car, and obviously give you cash to boot depending on what your price is. But that's the only things I'm interested in trading on. I am not interested in any project trades whatsoever. Guys, thanks for watching the video. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, like, comment, share, do all that stuff to help promote my channel. And again, my channel is primarily devoted towards Dodge D100 or Dodge pickup trucks in general, but I'm a Mopar guy, so I'm going to feature anything and everything I come across that's Mopar, whether it's a car show, a collection, a project car, you know, something I find and buy to flip, whatever the case may be. So please watch for upcoming videos, guys. Thanks.